Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Riley Potocnik, and this is Smart Business Moves. Riley, how in the heck are you, man?
I'm doing very good, staying busy.
Understatement there,
Yeah.
Riley, right now, right?
Yeah. It's, just relaunched my product yesterday. It's been full of demos and, answering questions, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, Liz, you're right. It's definitely an understatement just saying it's busy.
Yeah. But it's the kind of busy that is amazing, right?
For sure. Yeah. Like Tom said, it's better than being bored.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know, there's a thing about being an entrepreneur. Aw, Denise.
Yeah, thanks. And Denise, you helped me out when I was away. Thank you for being there for us.
Being a Tom fill-in. Yeah.
That's right.
So what I was saying is that I believe this is true. When you're an entrepreneur, you love being busy.
Mhm.
It's not the same as when you're an employee at another company and it's like super busy and you're just like, I can't wait to go home. When you're an entrepreneur, it's like, I can't wait to start again. Every day is exciting. And especially when you're just launching something brand new,
Yep.
you're probably having a hard time sleeping because of all the great ideas and the excitement, and wake up in the morning just rearing to go. Yeah.
It's we can say it's a whole new sense of purpose launching a product and having to figure out how to get it off the ground. And it's, during like over the weekend, Sunday is like the day when I'm kind of feeling down because I'm ready to get back to working, because things are mellow. You're not doing much. I feel happiest when I'm in the business, I'm working and I'm staying busy. It's like this different feeling.
Riley, I don't know if anybody's ever let you in on this or not, but you can work on Sundays if you want to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Some of us have been caught doing that before.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah,
not
I have to try that.
on vacation for weeks at a time. So
Oh yeah, I used to. That was the old Tom. The new Tom, I'm goofing off all the time now.
yes. So we should probably mention, because anybody who is, I guess the people on the podcast won't be able to tell, but anybody that's coming on here live, it's probably wondering, what's up with Tom? Why does he look so different? Sorry, Tom, but Tom's lost 25 pounds, y'all.
Oh, come on, Liz.
I'm sorry, but it's true. And Tom, it's like shocking. When I first saw you today, I was like, wow, you look really good. So, I mean, and anybody knows it is not easy. Well, Riley, you don't know. You never had to lose a pound in your life. But
That's right.
anybody that has ever tried to lose weight knows 25 pounds is hard. See? How's the golf game, Tom?
It's a work in progress. We've got about 2 months before my big trip, so we're getting there.
Is it that far away still? I thought it was closer.
It's in August.
Yeah, August.
Yeah.
So is it before the ARCSI regional event?
It is. So maybe it's a month and a half. I probably don't have as much time as I think I do.
Yeah. Well, it must be before. Yeah. The ARCSI event. Oh, not ARCSI anymore, right?
ISSA residential event.
That's the last week. Oh no, I guess it's second to last week. Okay. So anyway, what are we going to talk about with Riley? What's Riley going to share with us today?
It's really cool though, because we're catching Riley yesterday. He actually started promoting his new product, and it's I guess there was a concept, like I was telling Riley before we went live, 15, 20 years ago, convergence of communication. And at the time it was getting emails and telephone calls all in the same piece of software.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal 20 years ago. And it was hard. You had to be a really large company, enterprise company, to even be able to afford tools like that. And this is an example of where technology has evolved, where it's available to companies of our size. Anybody who really wants it. It's a lot more affordable, and plus it's a lot more robust because there's so many more communication channels, and there's a lot of strategic reasons, especially in a day with AI. And we can kind of talk about how important it's important today, but I really believe it's going to be more important, in the months and years ahead. And Raleigh's got this really cool product, this software SaaS product that he's built that takes all these different communication channels and manages them in one piece of software. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But one of the things that Raleigh's going to help us with, one of the communication channels is text, and sending text, in mass and automated ways of doing that. And I don't know if it's a government thing or a mobile carrier thing, but the forces are working against us on making it easy for businesses to send text, and it's going to be getting more complicated and within the next month or two. And Raleigh's going to explain what that's about and the reasons why and what we need to be doing today in order to be able to do the things that we need to be doing, a month or two from now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, texting is an incredibly powerful tool for businesses. I don't want any of this to scare people away from using text messaging for marketing and, sales and lead generation purposes. But, things are changing. Like Tom said, things are almost working against us as business owners to leverage texting. But the point of, what I do and, this episode is to make it very clear on what you need to do, because, once you have an idea of what needs to be done, it feels less scary. But we'll talk about what needs to be done here and, make it clear and make it a little less scary.
Yay.
So there's a term that I've seen, flashed around, 10 DLC phone numbers, and what's the 3-letter acronym for this big change that's coming up?
A2P.
Yeah, what is A2P? What's that all about?
A2P, you have the 10 DLC after that, which is your standard phone number, the 10-digit long phone number. That's and A2P, I can't always remember what the acronym stands for, but essentially it's a reference to application to program, I believe. I can't quite remember, but it's essentially, whenever you hear that, A2P is usually in reference to 10-digit long phone numbers, the phone numbers we all use with in our texting friends and family, our personal numbers, in our businesses, most cases, unless you're paying for a short form, short code number, which I don't imagine many of us are, because those are super expensive. But A2P is generally in reference to the 10-digit long number we all use.
So if you have a telephone and you're in North America, you have 10 DLC long. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the short one that you were talking about? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So most, it could be possible none of us use it, but the short code numbers are generally used like by banks or some of these large corporations where you may see, I think it's a 5 or 6 digit number. And some of these businesses are paying $3,000 a year to hold these numbers. Usually it's just used for one direction messages. Like, for example, I use Chase Bank. Chase Bank may just send you a text saying, hey, you withdrew some money on this date, and there's not really any intention for you to reply to that message. So you usually won't see these short code numbers in our industry, but they are out there, and they are significantly more expensive than the numbers we use.
So what is changing with our ability to text to these 10-digit numbers, and what do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so the big thing that is changing, and there is a deadline to this, July 5th. Twilio, Twilio is kind of the messenger in this case. Phone carriers are implementing this requirement where all businesses who want to text customers, leads, just texting in general, they need to register their brand with, in this case, we'll say Twilio, and they need to register any campaigns that they plan to send with Twilio. And Twilio is sending all of this stuff to phone carriers, because what the phone carriers are wanting to do is identify the businesses that are texting and have a better idea of what they're sending. And, the point of this is in an effort to, hold people accountable to the text they're sending. They don't want people jumping in the system and sending spam and be essentially anonymous. What they're trying to do is have a business assigned to all of the texts that they're trying to send, so they can hold that business accountable. Unfortunately, what this means is it complicates our job of, or our goal of sending texts to our customers, to leads, to the people that we want to reach out to. Because instead of just getting a phone number and sending texts, now you have to go to, in this case, Twilio, register your brand, wait for them to verify your brand. Then you have to go get register a campaign, and then you can start sending text. So it adds layers and complexity to this. The products like EveryChat or other text messaging platforms out there, they will make this step by step for you. You don't have to go out and figure out how to do this. But in Twilio, if you are looking to do this, they have a little thing called the Trust Hub, and you can go do this relatively easily. So the point being is the big change that is happening in, I mentioned the July 5th deadline. Any business that has not registered their brand, their campaign before this deadline, their phone numbers will stop sending texts until they register this brand. So it's kind of an urgent thing to get your business registered and get these campaigns registered. Otherwise, you're going to have some downtime in text messages. Your texts won't make it to the people that you're trying to send them after July 5th if you don't register these brands and campaigns.
Okay, and are you saying that we have to register them through whoever is sending our text, like through Twilio, or like I would register mine through you, or?
Correct. Yes. So a product like EveryChat, and I am building these in this compliance feature in right now. It's coming out very soon. But essentially, what would happen is you would use EveryChat to register your brand and your campaign, and then we would send all of that information to Twilio so that they have that stuff in your system, and we essentially speak to Twilio on your behalf. You give us your information, and we speak to them. That's how it would work. If you're working with Twilio directly, you would go into their Trust Hub features and put in your information there. You don't need to go somewhere else.
Okay, I think I'm a little confused right now. So let's say that I have a small company and I don't use Twilio and I don't use you.
Okay.
Do I still have to register
You're using somebody, right?
Yeah.
If you're sitting here on your phone texting customers one at a time, I guess we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you're a tiny business and you're still just using your cell phone, nothing really changes from you. Nothing changes for you. You're sending texts as most everybody else does. The change, and this is where kind of the acronym A2P comes from, is I believe the A stands for application. And an application would be EveryChat, it would be Twilio, and that's where you have to register your brand or campaign because you are using an application to send these texts through your business. So cell phone, nothing changes for you. If you're using a platform like EveryChat or Twilio or whatever SMS marketing platforms are out there, then you have to register your brand and campaign.
If you're P2P, phone to phone, nothing changes. But if you're application to phone, A2P, then starting the 5th, if you don't go through this process, fewer of your texts are going to be going through, and supposedly by the end of August, none of them will go through.
Yeah, it's a big change, but fortunately, there are Twilio, EveryChat, the other platforms out there, they are doing their best to make it easy for businesses. I say, in addition to this, just to just be fully transparent with the process here. When you are registering your campaign and going through this whole process, there are new fees that will be incurred during this process. So, so it's not like a free process of registering your brand and your business. Twilio, I believe, if I try and remember this, so for most of us, we will want to register a standard campaign. That's what they call it, or a standard brand. In a standard brand, you can send like 3,000 texts a day or something like that. But it's, I believe it's $15, a one-time fee of $15 to register that. Where the fees start building on is the campaign side. So every business will naturally have to register at least one campaign to send business or to send texts. And that fee can range from $15 to $20 a month to register a brand or a campaign through these platforms. And that fee is coming from phone carriers. And that is being passed on to Twilio, and then Twilio is passing that on to their customers. So there are fees.
Is that per carrier though? Like
no. So it wouldn't be per
total.
carrier, it's per campaign.
Can you define a campaign?
Yeah, so a campaign in Twilio's definition would be the type of text that you are sending. So Twilio would have several different campaign types, and it would be marketing, customer care. What else would be out there? Notifications. It's basically the type of message that you would be sending. So essentially, you, the business, would decide what kind of messages am I going to send. Most of us will probably be sending some kind of marketing related message. So we would want to register our under our brand. We would want to register a campaign called marketing, and that would classify the text that we are sending. And that would, for most people, that would be enough where you can get away with just the marketing campaign and only be paying that monthly fee one time, or only be paying one $15, $20 a month monthly fee rather than, several different campaigns, paying several different monthly fees. But without overcomplicating it, campaigns are just the types of text you will be sending.
Okay. And you're saying 3,000 a day could go out. So that's going to be pretty good for most of us.
Yeah, it should be perfectly fine for most businesses. If you are sending more than that, you can go to some higher tier stuff. But I think for most businesses, that is plenty fine.
So this sounds like the phone company's new way of getting money, right? They had long distance, they had basic service. It's like, all right, you guys want to send text? Cool. We're just going to charge you for that now.
Yeah, there's some of that, and I think it also stems from, if any of us have kind of felt an uptick in spammy texts. I think they're also trying to crack down on that and make it a higher barrier to entry for I'll put this example out here. So EveryChat, or back when it was Schedule Talk in the early days, somehow, there are these scammer boards out there that will go out and find apps and say, okay, let's just say Schedule Talk in this case, Schedule Talk, I can go sign up for this app and then start sending spammy texts from it. And what these scammers will do is they will put your app on a board, and all of a sudden you have one person turning into 10 people all joining your app to start sending junk messages. So what a lot of these carriers are doing in an effort for security and protecting the people who use that phone carrier and who use texting, all of us, is they are implementing these barriers. So these scammy people who are jumping from app to app to send, Craigslist scams, Facebook scams, they are implementing these things where no longer can these scammers just jump into an app and start texting. They have to register their brand. They have to apply for a campaign. And it's that increased barrier to entry, which unfortunately makes it harder on us, legit businesses, to send texts and actually use it to get a benefit. It's certainly not the end of the world. It's done for a good reason, but it just makes it more difficult for us. And, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, did you see this question from Jen, Tom?
Yeah, I did. And I,
do you know?
Jumped in, and I have an idea. It's really something that you do in Twilio, and this is a support article that the MaidCentral team put together with the help of Daniel Pixley. Daniel is one of our partners, or works with one of our partners, and he actually shot a video here that's part of this article. But I'll drop this article in. This will work for anybody whose texts go out through Twilio. MaidCentral integrates with Twilio, and that's kind of how we've been doing our texts, to date anyway. But other software products send their text out through Twilio as well. And regardless of whose software you're using, if the texts go out through Twilio, this article here would be helpful, and Daniel's video has a link at the bottom of it here, which is pretty good.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Sarah, for letting Daniel get his little stuff out there too. So I'm currently registering in Twilio. There's a section that I don't know what to enter. Status callback webhook. Any idea what that is, Tom? See, talking about that.
I'm gonna defer to Riley.
Riley?
Yeah. So the status callback webhook, I deal with this a lot of when I'm programming the software, but is going through their documentation. My understanding is the status webhook, their callback webhook is optional. So I don't think you actually have to provide that. Let me know if that's different. But as I've been going through the process of building these compliance features, from my understanding, is the callback, the webhook is an optional part of that process.
Okay. All right. Hope that answered that for you there. See.
So I think the big takeaway is, if you're sending automated text through any type of piece of software, this is something you're going to need to tend to. And a lot of companies use Twilio, and I dropped an article there, and you can go to YouTube and find other, there's plenty of help out there, and
Sure.
It's something that you need to start playing around with, because starting July 5th, you'll start seeing that some of your texts aren't going through. And like we said, by the end of August, supposedly none of them will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this is just as businesses, this is stuff that we all have to adapt for, especially with texting. It's a fairly new technology in the business world. We're just now seeing a big, large adoption towards texting, and that's where all of these compliance features are all of a sudden starting to roll into the environment, and we're all having to deal with it. But like I said in the beginning, don't let this stuff scare you. You can still get some incredibly good results from texting, from giving people the opportunity to text your business, to generate leads, to present hyper personal upsells to people. Texting still plays just through my experience, still plays a big role in our ability to communicate with customers and leads. So I don't think this should scare anybody away, but it is something to keep in mind and to start looking at.
So Riley, can you tell us a little bit about why would people choose to use your company? Like why, especially if they're already using something else?
Sure.
What's the benefit?
Yeah. So EveryChat, which started as a company or a software product called Schedule Talk, has evolved quite a bit. And this was a lot based on feedback. So we'll just call it EveryChat for right now, because that's the new name. EveryChat started as an SMS only product. What we are talking about here, SMS marketing, sending text and receiving text from.
When you say SMS, you're talking about sending text, like
Yes,
sending a
text
text on
messages.
your phone. That's SMS.
Yeah, I get caught up in the term that I often use behind the scenes, but not everybody uses SMS nowadays, or uses the word SMS. So yeah, text messages. So EveryChat was just a text messaging software for marketing, for customer service, that sort of thing. Nowadays, based on feedback, one of the biggest things that I heard was, I use 3, 4, 5 different software products already. I don't want to add another software product that I have to manage and train my team on that just does text messaging. I already have a CRM that does some basic text messaging. I already have, some things that kind of dabble in this. So they didn't really see a big, selling point on EveryChat at that point. It was one of those things that kind of held a lot of people back. So, the biggest thing that I saw here was, can EveryChat consolidate a lot of the messaging platforms that you use currently? And that's what EveryChat does nowadays. So think of it like your all-in-one inbox for your most important messages. Of course, there are more channels that I will add to it in the future based on feedback. But right now, it's all of your emails, any inboxes that you have, Gmail or Outlook, text messages, Facebook messages, website chat messages. That's an optional feature if you want to use that. But the idea is to connect to the core messages that are coming into your business and create one inbox for those messages. So you aren't bouncing between channels. Your office staff have one place to go and manage all of the messages coming into your business. That's the idea. In the future, I'd love to add voice to the product. I'd love to do Google My Business, but that's all based on feedback. And if that's something people want, that's something I will add. So right now, email, text, Facebook Messenger, it's the idea of building a core inbox for your business. And it looks like we got a question here. What about WhatsApp and Telegram? Again, I think a lot of these channels, it will all be based on feedback. I wanted to get the core things in, and then I didn't want to build EveryChat in my own little bubble. I wanted to get something out there and then start getting feedback based on, and start hearing the channels that people actually wanted in the product.
Well, that sounds like you're using the Scrum methodology, right? Get the least viable product, get some feedback, find out what's next, create that next thing. This methodology worked pretty well for Apple. I'm thinking that maybe it could work for you too, right?
Yeah. I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist, but I definitely like to hold things back and continue building until I'm really satisfied with it. So, part of it is I need to just get it out there. I'm not going to be able to guess what everybody wants because I'll end up building something that nobody wants, and it just slowed down the time to get it to market. So yeah, I focused on the core things, and that was a good starting point. And then things like WhatsApp or voice or aka phone calls, Google My Business, those things can be added as more and more people start asking for it. And I think just from what I've heard, going the Apple way, or many other companies use the same methodology. Let the customers dictate where the product goes, and that's how you create something really interesting. And that's kind of the phase that EveryChat's in. I am hungry for customer feedback, and that's what's going to drive the product forward.
Well, I have experience working with you and giving feedback, and know that you are excellent at taking feedback, and you're not just paying lip service to the idea of wanting feedback. A lot of people say they want feedback, but then as soon as they get it, they turn around, they're like, F him, like this person, right? They're frustrated, irritated. But I have seen you be exactly the opposite, and be really appreciative of all of the feedback, and then take action on here's some proof right here, right? So
yeah, we could all use a little bit more feedback in this world, and being open to feedback. So yeah, I think it's what drives the world forward. It's what just from a business standpoint, it's what drives our business forward to create something super exciting. So yes, I try and be as open as I can to feedback, because it's gold for businesses in many ways.
Yeah.
So you literally started marketing this, like you were sharing that you're just started doing demos, right?
Yep. Yesterday, I recorded my first video launching the product yesterday and posted it on Facebook.
Okay. We didn't talk about this, but if you'd like, you could share your screen and maybe show us a little bit about what it does.
Sure. Yeah. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, I'd be happy to quickly show you what it looks like. I don't have a ton of test data in this account, but you'll have a very good idea of what it looks like and how it works. So I've got it up here. Let's see, present, share screen. Okay, can you see my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is the dashboard of EveryChat, and there are some calendar and scheduling features in EveryChat. I'm not going to focus too much on that in this video, but this is where everything starts in EveryChat, and where you'll spend most of your time in EveryChat. You've got automations, you got your typical SMS or text messaging campaigns. But where all of your messages will be showing up is this page right here. You've got your texts, your Facebook messages. I'm holding off on Gmail right now because I'm working with Google to confirm a few things, but Gmail will be coming soon. and then Outlook, you've got your email platforms here. So, like I mentioned, this is where you'll spend your time. You can connect as many phone numbers as you'd like, and to keep it kind of clean, organized, rather than cluttering up text coming to multiple phone numbers, they're all stored in what we'll call their own page. So you can, like I mentioned, you can have as many numbers as you'd like. You have your main office number, your marketing number, whatever you have. And the idea, as I've mentioned already, is to create this one platform where you have your messages coming into one organized spot. So you're not having to check your phone, and then you have to go over to Facebook on this tab, and then you have your emails that you have to go sort through in this other place. You can just click through these tabs and see the messages in your business. This would be your website chat page over here for people who have filled something out, and this is what it would look like, just to kind of put some illustration to what I'm calling here. This little bubble down here, part of what makes our original SMS marketing feature special was the automations behind it. So what you'll often find is, talking to people, we all talk, speed is key when it comes to lead generation. Getting back to your lead as quickly as possible, it dramatically increases the chances that you are going to get them on the phone, or you're going to hold a valuable conversation with them. Because we may have talked about this before, that person is probably reaching out to 3 or 4 other businesses as well. So often the challenge that I hear, not just from texting, but any platform, is I can't get back to my leads as quickly as I'd like because I have all of these different things going on. So that's where the automations came into play in EveryChat, where you can build autoresponders to ask your new leads questions without your team needing to be there to ask those questions themselves. So let's say, for example, somebody reached out to you for the first time. That would be our general autoresponder here. You can, do these questions actually? All right, this is a good starting point. So you can set up your autoresponder to essentially pre-qualify the lead before you even see that message. It's a typical multi-message autoresponder. So when somebody reaches out, it'll send this message first. Hey, thanks for reaching out to us. Our team will be in touch with you shortly. We've just got a few questions for you before our team gets back to you. And then you can ask them for the information you should be getting from everybody. What's your name? What's your email if we need to contact you that way? Any questions that you'd like. You can even dig into the services that they're interested to understand what they need. This is all built in the SMS marketing and EveryChat feature, where you can pre-qualify leads. So I don't want to dive too much into this and take up too much time in this episode, but this is kind of how EveryChat works. You've got your inbox, you've got your SMS marketing, and some automations built into it as well. And that's where EveryChat will grow from in the future. We're setting the foundation for where it'll go, based on feedback.
This is cool.
All right, so I need some more help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say I'm using EveryChat, and I'm getting all of my mail. I'm getting everything through EveryChat. One of the things that I can do in Outlook is that I can sort my mail. I can flag mail. I can, tag, apply tags. Can I do all of that here? Do I have to go into Outlook to do all of that, and then it'll show up here? How does it work?
That is all still here, or at least, I'll keep it conservative. That should, most of that should still be here. So essentially the easiest way to think about this email integration, we'll stick with Outlook right now, is we are just building, we are pulling all of your emails from your existing Outlook. Of course, they all stay there. We're not deleting all of your emails over in your Outlook inbox. We're essentially just reading from them. So you don't have to import all of your emails into EveryChat. You don't have to do anything. You just press connect email address, and all of a sudden, all of your emails show up here. And any change you make in EveryChat also reflects in your email inbox. So if you read adding ChatGPT to my business, any ideas, that email will be marked as read in your Outlook inbox as well.
Okay.
So to get to your question, Liz, you do still have these organization features. So if I want to move new apps connected to a new folder, I would just, you can check this, click on this, and you've got your tags, your folders here. Let's say I want to move it to junk mail, update threads. It moves it. It's also moved in your Outlook inbox. And then I can come over here to folders and labels. I can go to junk email, and then you've got your email, your newly junk email shown up in that folder. So yeah, many of these same organization features that were in the inbox that you use every day, those have been pulled over here. Same with Gmail. You've got some of those features, and I'll just open this up real fast. Let me go back to our inbox here. So you've also got a few things here. Did you get my email earlier? So you've got the people involved in the conversation. You can assign it to a folder and label here. You can assign team members if you don't know a question or don't have an answer to a question. There's some team member features in this. You've got your typical features built in EveryChat that help make things feel as native as we can coming from Outlook.
Okay. And so we can assign it. That was going to be my next question, right? We can assign to different people. So everybody has their own inbox that is showing their text messages, their email. All right. That's good. I like it.
Yep. Yeah. And, on that team feature, whenever you assign somebody to a conversation, again, the example that I always use is maybe you in this case don't have the right answer to a question that somebody reached out to you with.
Yeah.
If John Doe has the answer, you can assign John Doe to the conversation. When you do, it'll notify him. It'll send that person an email letting them know, hey, you've been assigned to this conversation. You need to go attend to it. And then John Doe here, when they come into the inbox, they can just go up here, click conversation filters. Let's just imagine this is John Doe right here. They can click this, and then they can apply filters and see all of the messages that were assigned to him or that person. So there is that opportunity where, let's say John Doe can go in and see only the messages that have been assigned to John Doe.
Okay. So there looks like there's a lot to this program for sure.
Yes. And, I want to keep it, of course, more features are always fun. I also want to keep it as clean and simple as possible because the biggest part that I've seen with software is it gets so complicated that it takes 5 weeks to figure out how to learn it. So as new features come in, I'm going to try and maintain the simplicity and the speed of learning it, reduce that learning curve. But yeah, this is it's got a lot to it now, but more things will be coming to it in the future.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, Tom. Go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing about takes 5 weeks to learn it. Who in the world would do that?
I feel like he was digging at you a little.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I can take it.
No, there were no personal attacks here.
I can take it.
So you like my green screen? You changed our view.
I look at that and I just start thinking about how you can make it so complex that it takes 5 weeks to learn it. What are your thoughts? And I know that a lot of, the idea of a roadmap, where do you see this product a year from now, 2 years from now? And that's probably going to change a dozen times between now and then. But what are some of the things in the consideration set that you might be adding to or doing with the product that you have now?
Yeah, so I think, the term that I've used or the kind of the phrase that I've used is one inbox for all of your messages encompasses very well of where I'd like it to go. There are still plenty of channels that I can add to EveryChat to make it more and more effective and to accommodate more and more businesses. However, the big vision that I'd love to get to would be, with AI, the ability for this app to make a huge impact in a business just scales tremendously. I always say this, EveryChat right now is in a foundation place where it makes it easier for the business to manage the messages coming in. But where it gets really interesting is when you stack AI on top of, the foundation that I've already built in EveryChat, where now AI can help the business respond to messages, to help the business set reminders and perform tasks. So where EveryChat can go is, with the introduction of AI, you can automate a lot of the tasks in the business and reduce the need for a large support team in the business, where you can scale down the support staff in your business, and maybe you have one key office person paired with ChatGPT or OpenAI, where you have this one person who is very fluent in how ChatGPT works, and the combination of that with ChatGPT, with EveryChat and all of their messages coming in, you can almost build a one-person support staff that can manage, that of, 10 people in the business. So there's a lot of angles that you can take this, and I think EveryChat has a large opportunity, if played right, where you can, have that one one person who knows how to use the AI tools in EveryChat to, craft I'm repeating myself here, but to do the work of 10. So if a message comes in and this person, let me step back for a second because I'm going on a tangent here.
No, that's okay. Go.
I like your tangent.
Yeah. So, okay. So if you think about, and I'm going to use a lawn care company, for example, here. In a lawn care company or a landscaping company, you may have a support team composed of several different groups. You may have people who specialize in fertilization. You may have people who specialize in mosquito control or weed control. And these people are the ones who will answer the questions for, the fertilization person will answer questions for fertilization. The weed control guys will answer questions for weed control. And that's what bloats the customer service team, is you need all of these people who specialize in all of these different tasks. Where AI gets really interesting is you can have one person with a broad knowledge base of how your company works, and AI trained to your business. You can train AI to know specific things about your business. When that one person, your one person support team, can ask ChatGPT questions about, okay, what is the process for weed control in our business? What are the steps we take? Now you don't need several different teams of people for specific tasks. Now you just have one person who can ask questions to ChatGPT, and they can answer any question that comes in for your business. So hopefully that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But the idea is now ChatGPT can answer questions. So all you need is really one or two people to just send those messages. That you don't need specific people within the business who specialize on specific things. Again, hopefully that makes sense. I don't know how well I communicated that.
And, right now, I mean, training, these AI tools to give answers based on how your business does stuff is a journey in and of itself, and then getting it to where it's giving the correct answer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we see that in ChatGPT today, that you'll ask it questions and it'll answer it, but if you're not paying attention, it'll give you the wrong answer. But eventually that will become easier, and eventually, don't you think that you don't even need that intermediary where a human is getting the question, going to the AI tool, and then taking the answer and giving it back to the human? It's like, at some point, that person in the middle is not even going to be necessary.
100%. Yeah. That's certainly a long-term vision when, people have built enough trust, and ChatGPT has expressed or has proven itself well enough that we can all trust that ChatGPT, or, AI in general, will send the right question rather than some totally inappropriate answer that just completely bombs the reputation of a business. I think we all are still a little worried that, if we just plug AI into our business, we don't trust it enough to actually communicate or answer the question correctly. So yes, in the long-term future, or in in the future, we can definitely see a place where, you know, AI is the one answering these questions. But right now, we want that intermediary person who is good with ChatGPT to ask the right questions, and then just after they've said, okay, this answer checks out, now I'll send it to the customer. Now I'll send it to the lead. You have that person verifying that these answers are actually good.
And you know, sometimes the people in the office don't give the right answer either. So,
Yeah.
you know,
At least with AI, you have the really handy excuse of, oh yeah, that wasn't
the
us.
doggone computer doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, 5 years ago, even it was just like, dang that Susie Q. She
Yeah.
gotta go. Oh.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything with the, you know, are you working on that now, or is that down the road?
It's a we'll call it a side project right now. It is in the works. It's slow. I would say it's slow moving right now, because, you know, right now it's not the first thing people ask for when they are asking for new features in EveryChat. You know, right now the priority is, you know, broaden the set of channels that EveryChat works with, and then maybe go hard on AI. But I think what I will end up doing is probably outsourcing that task of building the core feature set for AI, and that will also, you know, create a simple way that people can train the AI for their business. So I may end up, you know, going the efficient route rather than doing everything myself here, is outsource that construction of the AI itself, and I'll kind of focus more on, you know, the adding channels to the product, you know, increasing that set of channels that people can use. It is something that I'm working on right now. It's a fairly slow project.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the next channels on your list, Riley? Or have you defined like the order of what you're adding?
Yeah, I mean, I always have ideas. So right now, Google My Business is one that people have asked for quite a bit. Voice, phone calls, that is another one people have asked for. And a number of people have even said, you know, if you have voice capabilities, I'm just going to, you know, just a general company like RingCentral, there's no need for me to have RingCentral. I'll just move everything to EveryChat and have all of my messages there, have all my voice there. It's a more interesting proposition to people. So voice is probably near the top there. And then you have, you know, yeah.
But it looks like what you're doing is you're integrating with these other tools. I mean,
Yeah.
Outlook doesn't, if you're using Outlook or Gmail, they don't go away. You still have those accounts. You just don't use them as the interface to get to those emails. You're using EveryChat. I'm assuming
How's that
voice
different
might,
with Central?
yeah, you still might use RingCentral. You just don't check your messages in RingCentral or use their app to make a phone call. You'd be making the phone call or receiving the phone call through EveryChat.
Yeah, and you know, that's a good point. So right now, what people, you know, as EveryChat doesn't have voice, what people are often doing is they want a way to, you know, connect their existing, we'll say, RingCentral number to EveryChat. And that is a possibility where you can still have it's not necessarily the interface where you can make calls from EveryChat and it's done through RingCentral. It's more, you have your calls going to RingCentral still, but there are some things that we can do with that RingCentral number to port it down to Twilio or EveryChat, so they can send texts from their RingCentral number from EveryChat, and they can still have all of their phone calls going to RingCentral. So they still have those two platforms, and they're getting the best of both worlds without having to buy a completely new number. But you know, it's not the perfect solution, because you're still having your phone calls go to RingCentral and your voicemails going to RingCentral. So you're still inherently having to manage two different products. So it's a good intermediary solution right now. So it's a good middle ground. But you know, having everything, your voicemails, your phone calls, all going through one solution, it's a nice, attractive idea. Now, you know, ideas are always far more attractive than the actual process of building it and kind of weeding out all the issues that you miss during the brainstorming phase. But you know, that's where the voice becomes attractive to people is, one product, they don't have to manage 2 separate places, that sort of thing.
Or 3 or 4 or 5. Just go one place. Yeah. I love that idea.
We have a question here, Riley. I'll start. MaidCentral, you do texting through MaidCentral, you do email through MaidCentral, and we manage that through other products. The texting goes through Twilio, the email goes through SendGrid, which is really owned by Twilio now anyway, but we've been using SendGrid back when SendGrid was its own company, and we have it on our roadmap to put voice in MaidCentral as well. And we're not gonna, our thought is, well, we integrate with some VoIP products now in terms of doing screen pops. We'll get the phone number, and it'll pull up a customer in MaidCentral on that inbound call. You're still using, say, the RingCentral app on your desktop, but like on another screen, that customer MaidCentral will be there anyway. But we're not necessarily married to all of those technologies or those particular products, and who knows what we'll be using down the road. And I don't know. It's a possibility, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's been selling it for 24 hours now, so we have
if that, yeah. Yeah. I'm to put it this way, I'm always open to integrations. I think integrations will be a larger and larger part of the technology world, where you see more and more apps trying to consolidate down rather than building your own little silo app. I think what more and more people want is an app that will communicate with the apps that they already use. So I am always open to new integrations to help make all of the products that you use work together, because that's where you're going to see the most value. An app that just sits over here and doesn't talk to any of your other apps, it's nice, but you're not going to extract as much value as an app that may share data between, where you can set up cool little automations and things along those lines, where like EveryChat, it works with Zapier. So any app that is on Zapier, EveryChat can connect to, and you can set up little automations like sending a text or creating a lead. You can do things like that that you couldn't if EveryChat wasn't connected to Zapier, which inherently connects it to, I think Zapier's at like 5,000 different apps in their directory. So it opens the door to a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. So big difference over schedule talk then.
Yes. Yeah.
So big difference. So night and day thing here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's I think a night and day difference is a very good way to put it. Schedule talk was very much, I don't want to downplay schedule talk, because that was a product that I was excited about. I was excited to start doing, get the SMS features out there. And start exploring actually trying to grow a software product. But I think, the nice thing about, going back to feedback, that's what made EveryChat thing, or schedule talk, what it is today. It became EveryChat, and this is what people were asking for. So, based on feedback, that's what I've built. So yeah, it's definitely an evolved product, significantly evolved product. Yeah.
Have we talked pricing at all? Because people want to know about pricing always. And yeah. Do we want to show something on the screen? Should we pull something up, or do you have something to share?
I believe it's on your website, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that's where I was going here. I was just gonna, if Tom wants to share it, feel free. Otherwise, I've got it up here.
Do you
want me to share it?
If you want to share your screen, you may, and I'll let you drive.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Share screen, pricing. Okay, so here's the pricing page. So, if you heard all of this and still just want to do SMS marketing, that is still a plan that you can choose from. That's $59 a month. Otherwise, if, when Gmail is part of the product, and hopefully that's soon, everything that we've discussed, text messaging, email, Facebook messaging, website chat, automations, Zapier, you can find that all under the $89 a month plan. I call that Chat Master. And that encompasses, pretty much everything you'll get within the product. Of course, there are little things on the side, like adding team members. That is about $9 a month per team member. And then there are some little fees with text messaging, like, a phone number will cost $4 a month. But for the most part, the $89 a month Chat Master subscription includes everything that we've talked about, and likely many of the things coming in the future.
Are there fees for individual texts though, or?
Yes. Yeah. So the Chat Master plan, and including the SMS Marketer plan, that includes 250 free, what they call text segments. Although if your messages are short enough, I think it's 250 character limit. I can't remember. In many ways, it could be 250 free texts per month.
And segments is a crazy thing. Like you put an emoji in there, that might be several segments, just depending upon what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those, there's probably a technical reason behind it, but again, I don't come up with this pricing model myself. I kind of listen to the phone carrier and how they price it, and they price based on the segments model. And, just to create some definition behind it. So essentially what a segment is, and the reason why carriers do it is, so a segment is defined by, I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, 250 characters. And beyond that 250 characters, the phone carrier has to break your text message up into two messages, where you have your first 250 characters that they send, and then they send the additional characters, or the additional characters as a separate message. And they'll just keep breaking up your text message based on how many segments. If it's 750 characters, you're going to be sending 3 texts, but you thought you were only sending 1. So that's how segments work. They break it up based on this character count. So what carriers do is they charge based on segments. So while you may think you're sending this one long message, you may be billed for, say, 3 separate messages that still appears like one message to the recipient, because on the recipient's end, they merge all of those messages back together as one. So yeah, you can get kind of in the details and the weeds here, but that's kind of a rough idea of how carriers work and how they do segments.
So help with the pricing. Mm-hmm. How does pricing work then?
So yeah, let me, hopefully I didn't log out here. So there is let me stop sharing here, and I'm going to log into the product, because there's a whole chart of how this works.
Okay.
But I assume at a high level, you're going to be paying a fixed rate for the use of this, for having the service available to you, and then you're going to be paying whatever the segment rack rate is for the amount of segments that you send per period of time.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Let me pull it up here.
And you're going to be paying that amount regardless of how you're sending your text. Is the point? Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on. Say that again. It's
you're going to be paying something per segment if however you're sending those texts. You're going to be paying for that, and unless you're doing it one at a time on your own phone. If you're using an application to do it, like Twilio, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're paying per segment.
Yeah. Regardless of the application that you use, Twilio, EveryChat, whatever else other platform out there, they all charge based on this model. They may phrase it a little bit differently, but inherently you're still paying for segments.
Well, we are at the top of the hour. Actually, we're a little bit over here, Riley, but people can get the detail, sounds like, on your website, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Just there.
And I will drop the URL in chat again just to make it easy. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming at this point, if somebody wants to know more about it, if they want a demo and sign an agreement, you're ready to roll, right?
Yep. Yeah. There are no agreements they have to sign, but reach out. We can schedule a demo.
You'll take a credit card and you'll get going then.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, thanks so much, Riley. I'm so glad you came on here, because I didn't even know about 90% of what you talked about today. So I really needed it.
Hopefully I didn't overcomplicate anything, but this is yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm always happy to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Thanks so much, man. This was awesome. So we'll call it a wrap for today. We'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern on Smart Business Moves. Till then, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.